Hey everybody, coming at you with another exciting video from at home. Alright, a while back I did a video, I think it was 7 or 8 questions or something, and one of the questions was, do I carry a bug out bag in my vehicle? And I said no, I do not. I only carry a survival kit. Well, throughout that video and several other videos, several people have said, I'd love to see that kit. So I think so many people asked, I think I will show it. And I have one full kit in one truck, and I have smaller kits in the other vehicles. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the one complete kit that has developed over the years that I'm happy with and I like. And so what I'm going to do with that is pull that out and show it to you, and eventually I'm going to replicate that for the other vehicles. And people that know me know that I claim to be a bushcrafter, camper, hiker, backpacker, maybe hammocker, self-proclaimed chef. Then I'm not really a survivalist, not really a survival expert, but I know enough about wilderness survival that I feel like I can handle it no problem. I just I don't get real comfortable with getting real in depth with teaching it or saying that I am some kind of an expert, because in my opinion the only true survival experts are the ones that you can drop off anywhere in the world, in any environment, in any climate, and they can survive. Okay, with me, I have no problem surviving in the South. Drop me off in the desert, probably won't be able to survive. Drop me off in the Arctic, I'll struggle. May or may not can survive, I don't know. It's like I said, because I'm used to my area, and the wilderness survival in my area, up in the mountains and the woods and possibly swamps, no problem. So, alright, enough rambling. Let's run over here and take a look and see what's in the back of the truck. Now, I'm the one that, I like to think that there's no reason to carry around a gigantic backpack in your truck or your van or your car. You know, you can if you want to, but I've tried to minimalize it, because another thing is, if you tend to have a backpack full of gear in your car or your van or your vehicle, you tend, now this is my mindset, you tend to take that backpack out oftentimes and raid it and get things out, get gear out of it, and use those things and not put them back. So when you're thinking vehicle survival kit or truck or car survival kit, you have to think along the lines of things you're going to put in that kit and you're going to leave in that kit. Okay, because that way they're there when you need them. All right, because a survival situation is a sudden, unplanned, unexpected event. So you want to be prepared. Okay, so you want to leave everything in your vehicle so it'll be there when you need it. Summer, winter, rain, snow, make sure it's always there. Okay, now let's take a look at what's in the back here. And then we're going to take it over there, we're going to lay it over on the table so that you can enjoy all the birds singing. So, to start with, this is the little kit that pretty much is the kit that's going to stay with the vehicle if I'm staying with the vehicle. And we may go over a few scenarios over that. Sometimes you'll stay with the vehicle, sometimes you won't. Most of the time, if you break down and you're on a road, stay with the vehicle. Alright? If you're snowed in, can't move, it's different. You may leave the vehicle. If it's summertime, and vehicles have the potential to get over 130 degrees Fahrenheit, you're not going to want to stay in a vehicle. You're going to want to jump out into the woods to sleep. Okay, so this is for if you stay with the vehicle. I'm going to talk more about this little kit. This is for if you leave the vehicle, and what this is a butt pack. And this butt pack, okay, is attached. Now, I don't know what everybody else calls these things, but I call them H suspenders. Because there's Y suspenders and there's H suspenders. And this butt pack is attached to it with a pistol belt. Alright? And it's got some loops. It's got some snaps and some loops and things on the back, and all different kinds of webbing. So what I'm going to do is, if I'm going to leave the vehicle, I'm gonna do this. And like I said, now this is not one of my nicer backpacks that I use for camping. This is a butt pack that I am willing to leave in my vehicle. And I'm not gonna raid the gear that's in here. So let's put this on. Okay, you get the idea. When I put this on, I'll snap around the belt here. On the back here, this pouch has Alice clips. So I can attach this to the back here and carry it with me. So this is the basic two parts of my kit. Alright. Now, something else that stays in there behind the seat is this little glob. And I may or may not carry it with me depending on the circumstances. And we'll go over this too. I'll lay this on the table. But the key to this is this. Well, not really the key, but the key to this is a Sog Jungle Canopy. Alright, now this is a knife that is it's not small, not too big, maybe not too small, but the deal with this thing is I don't use this often, so I'm willing to put this in the truck and leave it in the truck and never take it out. And that's the idea, because I know it'll always be there. So what I'll do with it is I'll take it and I'll attach it to the pistol belt of this for whenever I leave. So let's go sit down over there on the table and hope the cats don't bother us too bad. And I'll go through the items in this kit. Alright, instead of sitting in the gear room, we're going to sit out here on the deck. Because it seems to be a nice day, the birds are chirping, and maybe the cats will leave us alone. But I'm going to do a lot of talking. I'm going to go explain into some of the details of why I carry what I carry, and this is developed over the years. Okay. Now, first off, let's say this. People that are used to my videos are used to me carrying like camouflage tarps, tactical looking things, olive drab looking things, natural looking things. Okay. Well, that's bushcraft camping and hiking. Okay. In survival, you want to be seen, you want to be heard, you want to be able to signal. Okay. It's not joy, it's not fun, you're trying to survive. You're in a bad situation, you want to get out of it. So, bright colors. This is what you want to use, bright obnoxious colors screaming, hey, look at me. Now the things that ain't in this kit that just stay in the vehicle is this is a hunter's vest. Alright, it stays in there. Alright. You want to be seen. Another thing too, that's an extra layer for if it's cold. This is one of those survival blankets. It's a very, very old one. It has the reflective on one side, and as a matter of fact, this is one of the original space blankets. This is very, very old. Let's click this thing on over. This is one by the Thermos brand, Space Sportsman's Blanket. Alright, let's cut that back off. Now, this thing is handy because you can wrap up in it. You can put it over your head, you can lay on it, you can make a shelter roof out of it. But generally this doesn't go with me, this just stays in the vehicle. This is that Sog Jungle Canopy. It is definitely not one of my favorite knives, but I can use this knife for if I have to do anything. If I have to chop some wood or maybe build some kind of a roof or a shelter or something. I don't use it much camping or hiking, so I'm willing to leave this in the vehicle. I know it'll be there. Two different kind of sharpeners in here. Smith sharpener. I don't really like it either, so I'm willing to leave it. This is a little diamond sharpener. It's so short that I don't like it either, so I don't keep it in the gear room with my regular camping gear. That stuff stays in the truck. So now let's dig into the smaller kit and take a look at it. Alright, here's the smaller kit. Now, for those of you that were in the military, you may recognize this. This is I think it's either a radio carrying kit or a radio accessory kit. It's got Alice clips on the top and the bottom, and it's got some webbing on here. It says on the back, carrying case ANPRC 148 VC, made in the USA. Alright. Now, there were several different cases that I had used and experimented with, and this just seemed to fit because of the pouches. It's got on the top it has a flap that folds over and is held by 4 buckles, which is pretty neat. Alright, now let's open this up. Now this is a kit that stays pretty much with the vehicle for if I'm going to stay with the vehicle. So let's look in here, and this is about as small as you can get without getting too big. Now right in the top that rolls off is a tiny first aid kit. Alright, just enough to handle whatever small emergencies there may be. Alright, so that's one part of it. Let's put that right there. This is one of those tacked bivy sacks. If I have to, I can sleep in it. It'll protect me from the elements, could protect me from the rain. If I had to, I could take this thing and put it over my head for the rain, protect me from bugs, mosquitoes, possibly. And if I had to, I could fill it full of leaves and make a bed out of it. Very small, very lightweight. I keep it in there. These are cheap. I bought about 10 of these, and I've got them in several places. Now let's look in this pack right here. Let's pull this out. Before everybody laughs, I want to explain something here. Okay? This is not TV. I'm not going to don a loincloth and run off into the woods and set figure 4 deadfalls and snares and traps and hunt and spear things. Okay? This is real life. So what I'm going to do is, if I get a little bit hungry, I have these Cliff bars, packed full of energy, packed full of calories. They'll keep you going for a little while. Grab a bar, eat it. Okay? A couple of Nutri-Grain bars, a little bit more tastier. The way I look at it, you may think I'm crazy, but if I absolutely was in a bad situation, there is 3 days worth of sustenance here. It ain't like I'm going to die. I'm going to be miserable, but I would have a multigrain bar and a Cliff bar every day. Alright? Yes, I'll be miserable. Yes, I'll be a little hungry, but that's there, and I know it's there. Now, by some miracle, there's 2 more pouches in here, underneath here, and by some miracle, I happened to find that these bottles fit perfectly. And what these are is that BAI company, that buy. I gotta look at the camera to say this. Have y'all seen the commercial with Christopher Walken and I think that Timberlake guy where the guy drinks it and they play the music, bye bye bye. Well, this is those buy bottles, and they just happen to fit perfectly inside these pouches, which is pretty cool. So let's ease back down here. See, they fit, they're just the right height and just the right diameter to fit in these 2 pouches here. So let's pull those out. Okay, that's the other part of the kit. Okay, so that's enough water to keep me from dropping dead. Now, inside this long tube, there's a very long place here. Inside this tube, I have the contents are cram packed in. Now, I'm not going to pull them completely out. I'm just going to show you the edge of them because they were hard to put in. But if push came to shove, I have inside what it takes to build a super shelter. Plastic and Mylar. I am not pulling it out because that was cram packed. Once I pull that in, and this is a tube that a big drill bit came in. And it just happens to fit down inside here perfectly. So that's another good reason for this kit here. Alright, now I'm going to throw these back in here and I'm going to show you the bottom part of the kit. Okay, so let's take a bottom look at the bottom right here. Here's another pouch on the bottom. Now what this is I have in here a little headlamp with the strap where you can put it around your head. Alright, I also have a compass. Okay, I quit carrying this compass, so I'm willing to leave that in there. That not only is it a compass, but I also have a signal mirror for signaling. Down here, I have a whistle. Okay, like they say, if you can't be seen, be heard. Okay, and then down here, I have an LED light. On the back, it has a magnet, which is, I've been thinking about it, and I'm going to move this to a different place. Space is limited on this pouch, but I don't like the fact that this magnet is on the back here. It's got a magnet and a hook for hanging it. But so far what I've done is I have managed to keep this on top. So maybe it's close enough to the magnet that, I mean, it's far enough that it won't affect it. I'll have to put a little more thought into that, but you have to pay attention to these things, or I may remove the magnet. This thing will come on as red, it'll come on as white in the middle, or it'll come on as blinking red. Okay, so not only do I have light, but this is also like a signal device. I bought this at Big Lots. It was very cheap. Alright, so that's the contents of this little pouch. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, and like I said, This, if I have to go mobile, the Alice clips on the back of this thing will attach to my butt pack and webbing. So let's move on and let's take a look at the butt pack and see what's in it. Now before I open this up and show you the contents of the butt pack, you got to kind of think, there's so many things. It takes years to develop a good survival kit because you don't want it too big, you don't want it too little. If you can, you want it to get by with all seasons. Think to yourself, what parts can I use for summer or winter? All right, and then of course, key thing too, it ain't gonna do you no good if it ain't there. So, things that you're willing to separate from your camping gear and leave and never touch and know that they're there, that is a prepared kit. Okay, so let's ease down here. Move this thing over here and so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so let's look in this butt pack kit right here now. Okay, like I say, it's got a pistol belt. It's got what's called H suspenders. If you go ordering this stuff, that's what they call this, and I don't know what the real name of it is. There's also, the way the webbing is that if I had to, I could roll up an extra tarp, and I could lengthen this webbing, and I could carry this over the outside of it. That's another option. All right, so let's open this up here. It's got a little drawstring on it. I could actually pack a little bit more in here because of the height of this thing. But I'm pretty settled on this kit, but this may or may not be a completely developed kit. Okay. This is a high visibility vest. Not only is the color of it high visibility, but it's got the reflective stripes so I can be seen if I'm walking down the road. And it's relatively thin, so that if it's summertime, I won't overheat while wearing it. And like I said, you got to be seen, you got to be heard. Okay, this you can be seen. If it's in the wintertime, I'll put this on first, then put this on over it. I have an extra layer, and I usually carry a jacket anyway. This is a wind-up flashlight. I bought it in a pack from Home Depot. You don't ever have to worry about batteries. It was like a 3-pack from Home Depot. So cheap that I put one in every survival kit. This is a seal nylon tarp. All right, look at the color of it. Bright, obnoxious yellow. What did I say about survival? You're not hiding from people. You want to be seen. All right. Stark contrast to when I'm bushcrafting and camping, and I've got the camo tactical type look. You want to be seen. Let's see now. Pull this out. Garbage bag. Doesn't hurt anything. This is a cup. Okay. Now inside here, I have my option of matches or a lighter for a fire. Rice, bag of rice. I'm going to talk about that later. Now what this is I have 2 instant coffees here, and actually I need to put more in here, and a cup. So that if I have to, this is my comfort. Alright, if I'm miserable, scared, cold, tired, I know that I'm going to have coffee before bed or coffee in the next morning. You know, I'll have a good warm drink. I need to add more. I just now realized there's only 2 in there. But anyway, there is a martini here. Small martini knife. It's a fixed blade. I don't like folding blades. I don't like locking blades. I like fixed blades. This thing is small enough. See, it's less than 4 fingers wide. This is small enough that I can carry for the fine carving task, and I can hang it around my neck if I want to. Now in here, this is a hammock with suspension. It's not the best hammock in the world because it's a net hammock, but it's not my Eno. So I'm willing, if I had my Eno, okay, this is another thought on the mindset of things. If it was an Eno, I would tend to go and dig it out of the truck. But the fact that this is one of those net hammocks, I'll leave it in the truck. And it comes in a mesh bag. If I have to, I can use that mesh bag as a pre-filter for water if I have to. Alright, so, now this thing here, this I'm going to avoid talking about for just a minute because I just remembered I got to run down to the gear room and I got to get something before I talk about this. This is another bits and pieces of little more comprehensive medicine, first aid kit type stuff that's in here. What this is This is something that I found recently. I mentioned in that one video that I was at the Goodwill in Cartersville, Georgia, and they had those binocular cases for 77 cents. Well, they had a plastic bin full of these grabber hats for 77 cents each. I couldn't believe it. This is a regular hat for if you need to keep the sun off of you for if you're hiking, or mosquito net. All right. I'm always wearing clothes. I've always got pants and boots and shirts, so I'm not worried about bugs eating up the rest of me. My hands, I've always got gloves in the truck, but a head net, don't always have that. This is something I just added recently because it's so cheap. I bought several of these, and I'm just going to put one in every survival kit, just like how this is. And it ain't like I'm going to be digging this out because I bought several of those. Now, down in the bottom, doesn't hurt to have a small emergency poncho, all right? My Marpat or Woodland Camo poncho, I will not leave it in this kit because why? I'll be going and digging it out and using it. So, Coleman, cheap disposable poncho. I'm not going to need this. I'm not going to dig it out. It's always going to stay there. It's always going to be there. In here, I have a little pot. I'm going to talk about the contents of that in just a minute. And in the very bottom, a Gerber multi-tool. I have a newer Gerber multi-tool that I carry with me, and it stays in my camera bag. So this one, I don't mind leaving it in here. And I don't use multi-tools that often, but it stays in here. Now that's the contents of this pack, all right? Now before we go over the contents of this, and before I talk about this, I got to run down to the gear room, and I got to grab another package that I'm going to show you before I talk about this. All right, now the sun's starting to come out. It's going to really screw things up, so let's get this done and over with. Now, let's talk about the little pot here, okay? It's not too big, not too little, good for boiling water. Here's the thing. In this cup, I had coffee and rice, all right? I can live off the power bars, but if it's really cold, a warm meal is a morale booster. So let's look at this kit right here. First off, not having nothing to do with boosting morale, is I have some cordage. Now this is not good paracord. This is just some kind of cordage I bought. All right, I think they call it labeled as mini rope. I don't have to have this camping, so I am willing to separate this from my camping gear. So I'll leave it in here and I won't miss it. Inside here, this is a pack of emergency drinking water approved by the U.S. Coast Guard. And it's a pack of water, emergency drinking water. In here, I have another pack of rice, and then I have 3 of these packs of water, okay? So, I know if I have to, I have a container for making a decent little hot meal, all right? And I have water down in there, all right? That can be a morale booster. I know some of those guys on TV, there's some of those survival experts on TV that their morale booster is to drink urine. I don't do that. This is not TV, this is real life. You know, I like a good hot meal when I'm cold. So, one other thing, very important, on the top of this pouch here, I will add a Sawyer mini filter. Now, you may ask, why is there not a filter in there right now? I've only got 2 of them, okay? And one stays on my shelf and one stays with another kit. Right now, in this time, I am not willing to part with one of my Sawyer minis and leave it in here, all right? That's the reason why I haven't done it, because if I put it in here, I'd be going and getting it and using it on trips. So, but I'm gonna get another Sawyer mini, and that way, if I have to, I can refill some of these bottles and things, okay? Now, the last little element of this that I wanna show is this thing right here. It's a Extreme Protect vest. This thing is compacted like a brick. It's very, very, very small. All right. And what this thing does, I bought 2 of them. This one, it's in this package right here. Let me stand up so that you can see, so I can show you a little bit better here. Now, what this is this is a vest, and it's got a hood, and it goes all the way down low. Now this thing, when you open it up, it literally explodes into like a 3-layer thing. See if I can get the glare off the camera. Cut this on here. Now according to Moore's Kohansky, these things like this, they make a sleeping bag too. This is Lily Elastics, and what it does is it just explodes into a 3-layer device. And I'm talking about a wind blocker. Oh, see, this is great right here, because if I stuffed a down jacket into that pouch right over there, if I went to stuff a down jacket into there, it would take up the entire room. So I'm not willing to carry one. But I am willing to carry this compressed little block. Now, they claim you can use this several times, but I think once you open it up, it's pretty much just going to explode and you're never going to be able to get it back in. So I think this will be great for really cold weather if I want to bundle up. So let's cut that back off. Now, alright, I hope you had fun with this. I hope you picked up a few little tips and tricks. The only other thing besides the water filter that I'm thinking about adding is a couple of candles. And I had some old lousy regular candles in there, and I took them out because I was going to order some of those UCO candles, and I never got around to putting them in. So I'm glad I pulled this out of the truck and looked at it. But the thing about that is with the Mylar and the super shelter that I've got in the red tube, that opens up another option for a thing that's called, I think it's called a Polymer Furnace. Some guy invented it. And what it is it's where you cover your head and your whole body with Mylar, and you sit cross-legged like Indian style, and you light a candle and you hold the candle, and what it does is when you're completely covered with the Mylar, that one little candle that you're holding warms up the air inside that bag. It's like a last ditch effort to keep you from dying. But if you had to, you know, you could set up, I could set up that space blanket as a wind blocker, and then put the Mylar over me, and then put that in and keep warm. All right, that's one of the other things that I could do. But when you have a survival kit, people always talk about survival kits, but they don't talk about the mentality of what you should do and shouldn't do. And the key to it is, like I said, put items in there, put good items in there, but put items in there that you're willing to leave there. Okay, I can't stress that enough. That is so important. There's a fine line between being too big, too small, being compact, being not usable. Don't put a bunch of cheap Chinese garbage in there. It's going to break on you. But like I said, don't put things in there that you're going to raid. All right, and think about things that you could, if you're going to stay with the vehicle, what you're going to use, and think about things that you have the ability to take with you if you have to. Be seen, be heard. All right, this ain't TV. Don't worry about figure 4 deadfalls and donning a loincloth and running through the woods naked and trapping animals or spearing animals. This is real life. Worry about your own comfort. Worry about your own safety, your own survival. Have a little bit of sustenance. Make sure you got plenty of water. Make sure you're going to be warm and dry while you sleep. That's the key to it. You're not moving into the woods. You're not living there. It's a temporary situation. You'll be home before you know it. Hope you learned a few things. Hope you had fun. It was kind of neat for me to go through that because I don't talk about survival that often. That's the reason why I don't label many videos with survival, and I don't have survival in my name, because I am a bushcrafter camper. And I shall see you in the next one.